Okay, so I'm really excited about today's talk because we get to talk about what happens as my swimmer gets better, as they get faster, as they're improving. Like, what do we have in store for them? Your swimmer is not going to be going to 2 one-hour practices a week their entire swimming career. Our top athletes, they're working out 8 to 9 times a week, and they're traveling all over the country for meets, but it all starts somewhere, right? And it all takes goal setting, and there's stepping stones. So we're going to talk about that, qualifying times. If you've been looking at the communicators, at the very top I put like Centol qualifier list, right? And some people might look at that and they're like, what is that? And some of you might see your swimmer's name there and you're like, that's awesome. Dep 1's qualifying for Centol actually doesn't happen all that often. That's why that list is so short. But it's really exciting that we do have some qualifying. So first thing I'm going to talk about, like, what does it mean to qualify? Some swim meets have qualifying times, and your swimmer needs to achieve 1 or more of those to swim at that meets. So it's basically, they have to earn their way into those meets. In a second, you can take this one. So, and in a second I'm going to show you some of the actual qualifying times so we can look and understand that. But like, why do we want our swimmers to qualify? Qualifying for meets is awesome goal setting, and it's an achievement. You know, not all the kids understand that, oh, I want to go to a bigger, faster meet, but when you sit and you're like, hey, but you swam so fast that you get to go to a bigger meet that other kids don't get to go to, like, that's exciting. So like Dynamite just qualified for his first Centol meet, and he's pumped about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I do it, I talk to the kids like, and we had this kid qualify for Centol, and then we got other kids that are like, what's that? Oh, I want to go there. And now in my group, we have 3, maybe 4. I know we have 3 for sure, and that's huge. That's awesome, right?
So did you say you have to qualify in 2 races to go to Centol? Oh.
So yeah, Centol is just, you get 1. So like the Centol meet, whatever you qualify in, you just get to swim that 1 race. So if you qualified in the 50 free only, you're only swimming the 50 free. And also the conversation with that starts with, like, why would you go to a meet for just one race, right? As soon as a kid is ready for the next level, we want them at the next level. Because that exposure to like a bigger meet, a faster meet, it brings out more in them, and then they get a little hungrier. They want to get more races, they want to get more events. So the sooner you get them to the next level, the sooner those sparks start to get lit, if that makes sense. How do you know if your swimmer has a qualifying time? So there's the results email, right? And if you look at the big list of results, I've set it up so the qualifying, it'll have a little mark next to it. It'll say Centol, or our swimmers that swam fast enough in the 25, it'll say qualify next to it, because the 25s, they have to qualify for the 50s, right? So you'll see that. If your coach has been sending you a results email, we'll also shout them out there. But if you have no idea, like you just don't know at all, then I would look up your swimmer's best time, and you can do that through the website or on the app. If you were at the parent education last time, we actually walked through that. So you can look up your best times for that, and then compare it to the qualifying times. So if you turn like 2 pages, this is one of the days of Centol. So this is just Sunday, but there's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I just put in one of the pages. But you see how the qualifying times are right there on the side? And like Sunday, we actually don't have the 50 free or the 50 back on that day. But you would just look at that 10 and under or 11, 12, your respective age group, and just compare your swimmer's best times to this list, right? You would just do straight up comparison. And then if you just don't know, email your coach, right? Be like, I don't know, do I need to go to that meet? So there's that. How do you know what the qualification times are? On all the events, we have meet information attached to them. So the Centol meet information, the last 2 pages is all the qualifying times. We have a meet in February called West Texas Champs, and in the section it just says qualifying times. It says you need a national age group motivational time of a B standard. again, it's one of those things that's like, what does that mean, right? If you're not in the swimming world. If you turn to the last page, this is set up by USA Swimming. Every 4 years, they take like an average of the country swimmers and percentages and stuff. But if you look at that column that says B, and you scroll down in your age group, and you look across to the event, that's how you can see what the B times are. So for West Texas Champs, you need 1 B time to qualify. In West Texas Champs, it's a huge deal. We lost this past summer to Lubbock, but we won the previous 3 in a row, and it was huge because those 3 in a row came after like a 5 losing streak. It was pretty bad. And we barely lost this summer, but it was in their home pool. It's a little harder to travel to Lubbock, but.
Are these Central and these other types of meets, are they typically on Sundays?
No, they're usually 3-day meets, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So for the Centol one, I just printed the Sunday one, just so I don't want to print a bunch of stuff.
Just as
There are
an
other
example
days though.
page.
Yeah, there's another page in the meet information, there's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But yeah.
So would they be swimming one course maybe on a Friday and then another one on a Sunday?
They could.
Or would it be all on one day?
It just depends on the meet format. So again, that looks at, when we look at the meet information, you look at what events are swum on what days, right? So it could, which is a little easier when it's a home meet, when it's an away meet in another town, that's a little different. But generally, at all meets, the Friday session is distance events, and we don't swim the distance races at dev meets, so it's usually a Saturday or Sunday. And what's cool too is like at Centol, they qualify in that one race, right? Well, since they're in the meet, they just became eligible for relays. So we have 10 and under relays. So we could have developmental swimming with our dolphin swimmers or our dolphin 2 swimmers. Yes, ma'am.
Is it for everybody, Dev 1, Dev 2, Dolphins?
Yeah, it's for everybody. Centol, last year we had about 500 swimmers in it. We have teams from Austin, Dallas, Oklahoma, New Mexico. Like it's a big meet,
It's
right?
for everybody if you
If you
swimmers
qualify, yeah, and every team here, so it's not limited to any team. And you'll see it, it'll say qualifiers only. So if you qualify, we want you to go to that.
So the West Texas meet is different from the Central.
Yes, so Centol is an open invitational, meaning until we hit an entry limit, we'll take entries from any team, like across the country. West Texas Champs is only our region. It's actually called an LSC, Local Swim Committee, and our region is West Texas. So it's like us, Lubbock, Amarillo. So there is out-of-town teams, but it's not nearly as big. That means like 250 swimmers. It's a small swimming region that we swim in. But the Centol meet's a lot bigger and encompasses a lot more cities and states and stuff. Great questions, by the way, fantastic. Okay, so there's, where's my first page? How do you know? So the next thing is like, man, that's exciting. Like, I want everybody to get excited about this because that is why we coach. We coach so our kids can achieve great things and they can feel good about the work they're putting in. We don't show up here every day for the kids to just swim. That's why we don't have a rec team. Like we tried it a few years back and we can't get any coaches excited about working kids out just for fun, right? Like it's like all the coaches were swimmers. Like we understand competition. We understand going to meets and having fun and achieving things. So here I made a 6-step process. It's kind of vague, but I think it's cool. So first, ask your swimmer if there's a meet that they're working towards. Chances are at your level, they have no idea. And that's okay. And it's okay for you to tell them what meets there are. Step 2, do they know what the times are to get there? Again, probably not. But in the meet program today, Coach Jenna actually put the Centol time standards in all the shorter races. So it's way simpler in there the way she did it. And the West Texas Champs time standards. And you can show that to your swimmer, and you can show them the comparison. Hey, this is how far away you are, right? 3, again, get them the times, only if they want them. We don't want to force our swimmers to care about these meets, but like a tactic I use in my practices is when I have my first Centol qualifier, I get everybody around and I'm like, guys, this is a really big deal, right? And the kids are like, whoa, that is a big deal. I want that, right? right? So that's like what I do as a coach to get the whole group ready to go. And then number 4, be the best cheerleader possible. Once they know the goal, once they know what to do, like you're there cheering them along the way. Number 5, point them towards the process. So when they come home and they're like, man, Coach Mike celebrated this kid because he got Centol, but I had a good meet, but he didn't say anything. And just the process is the practice. It's the showing up. It's the learning. It's the listening to your coaches. Like point them towards the process. There was a podcast with a professional swimmer who said swimming's like 98% failure because at this age, at this level, they go best times pretty often. Our top kids train 6 months at a time to go best times at 1 meet out of the year. And if they go best times in their 2 or 3 best events, it was a fantastic season. Like it just takes, I love swimming because you can't get around the work. Like it takes work. Like there's no getting lucky at a swim meet, right? There's no, in a team sport, like you gotta work really hard, but if you have a bad day, but all your other teammates had phenomenal days, you could still win the game, and that's huge. But in the water, if you're not ready to go, it's not gonna be your day, and that's okay. And that goes for the last one, prepare to watch a lot of failures. Because right now they're just swimming, but as soon as they set that goal for Centol, you could go 4 meets in a row without getting it. That's 4 meets that are failures, right? You could go best times and everything, but they didn't get the Centol cut. Failure, right? They didn't reach their goal. And it's also being realistic. Just because you set the goal today doesn't mean you're going to get it tomorrow. So it's a big part of the sport. And again, at the developmental level, you know, we talk. I would say 80% of our conversations are about the skills, because the skills long term is what gets them to the big stuff. And the other 20% is the Centols, the West Texas Champs, the racing. So another thing to look at is, so upcoming meets this season. Mini-Prix number 3 today is the last chance to qualify for Centol, right? Then you have the Centol Winter Invite. You could qualify for West Texas Champs there. And then February 15th, there's another Mini-Prix before that, but February 15th is C Champs. So if you're not qualified for West Texas Champs, like 95% of our entire developmental program is, you're going to be going to C Champs. And C Champs is your last chance to qualify for West Texas Champs. And this is important for the kid to know because it puts that pressure on there. Like, hey buddy, this is your last chance this season to get that time that you wanted. So let's go, right? And to add on to the pressure thing and why I say be the best cheerleader ever, because we don't want a swimmer to have a bad race and we're talking to them saying like, well, you didn't get this, or you didn't get this goal, or if you don't do this, you're not going to get your goal, right? There's just a very fine line between the encouragement and it becomes overwhelming, because then they get blindsided to, they get blinded by the goal, if that makes sense. This happens a lot at the older level. There's meets that our kids really want to go to that are a lot of fun, travel meets. We have one in Florida, we go to Dallas for another one. Last year we went to South Carolina for another meet. And you know, these kids, they can become obsessed with qualifying, which is awesome. They're driven, they're excited, but they could have the best meet of their life, and if they didn't qualify, they're sad. And you know, I like to say, like, swimming is the game of 1,000 inches. You know, it's little improvements at a time. Little improvements at a time. Every now and then you have a big jump, but those thousands of inches, they add up. And again, you go back, trust the process, right? So, so yeah, guys, that's really all I wanted to show you. If you turn this second page, that's the Centol meet information. And I just printed that one page, but see where it says qualifying time? That's what it looks like. I know it sounds pretty straightforward, but every meet information has that.
So just to verify, the C Champs, all of us go to?
Yeah.
That at C Champs, you have an opportunity to qualify for West Texas Champs?
Mm-hmm.
Can you qualify for West Texas Champs at the Sentinel?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have 2.
Yeah, you have 2 chances. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, any meet, and then even meets that don't have qualifying times, it'll say there are no qualifying times for this meet, and we call those open meets when you get to the bigger meet. So yeah, guys, do we have any questions about meets, qualifying, next steps?
Where did you say for the times are for the ages? Is it these?
Yeah, that's like I said, that's one of the pages. When you get the heat sheet, it's broken out a lot nicer than what I printed. print it out. But yeah. So yeah, if you, and if it's 10 under, right, 11, 12, that thing. Cool. Alright, good stuff. It's exciting. As your swimmers get faster, that's exciting. I love writing those results emails about how you guys did. It's like the funnest part of my job. It really is. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank
If
you.
you didn't sign in, we're giving you half an hour service hours for these now. Yeah? I know.
We'll get them there.
Oh. It's like a different tactic with him, but it's.
Come on, guys.
No, it's totally.
Thank you.
Yeah. But he loves racing.
He really does. She came in here and he thrives on that.
And I practiced too the other day. I was like, alright, sure, guys might in Vegas. I was like, I want you guys to all go first in each individual season race. And Davis is doing really good. I think the sticker board too. He's gonna hit those skills really well.
He likes rewards.
Yeah.
So even if it's a sticker, he likes a reward.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Okay.
He's doing really good.
And don't hesitate to even call me or email and say, hey, can you talk to him? He's,
Yeah. The only thing, some days he shows up in like swim trunks, like regular trunks.
it's when I need to go buy him some new ones. I don't know if you knew this, at one of the practices, his bottoms came down. And so he's been traumatized by that. He's scared to
That
death
makes sense.
that his swim trunks are gonna fall down again. And so,
So before the meet, he's wearing his meat suit, and you don't want to
Yeah.
wear out your meat suit.
right,
I get
and
it.
so that's my fault, I need to go buy him a new one
Okay.
that's tighter,
Yeah.
you know, but I will, I'll go
He's
get
doing
it.
great, by the way.
Okay,
He's
all
doing
right. Perfect,
Yeah.
thanks.
Hey,
Thank you.
no problem. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the boys were like, let me stop this. This is recording.
Oh.